Hello, and welcome to our guide on creating a U.S. personal finance dashboard. My name is Iman Mahmood, and I'll be your guide on this journey to financial clarity. Before we dive in, a quick but important note. The information provided in this series is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not intended to be a substitute for professional financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. Always seek the advice of a qualified professional with any questions you may have regarding your personal situation. We are not licensed financial advisors, and this guide should not be construed as a recommendation or endorsement of any specific financial strategy or product. Now let's get started. What if you could see your entire financial life in one place? Imagine a single screen where you could track your income, monitor your spending, check on your savings goals, and see your net worth grow over time. This isn't a far-fetched dream, it's the reality of using a personal finance dashboard. Think of it as your financial command center, a central hub that brings together all the scattered pieces of your financial world into a clear, understandable picture. In today's fast-paced world, managing money can feel overwhelming. We have checking accounts, savings accounts, credit cards, student loans, car loans, retirement accounts, and maybe even some investments. Each of these lives on a different website or app, with its own login and its own way of presenting information. It's like trying to solve a puzzle with the pieces scattered across different rooms. A personal finance dashboard gathers all those pieces and lays them out on one table for you to see. So, what exactly is a personal finance dashboard? At its core, it's a tool that aggregates your financial data from various sources and presents it in a visual, easy-to-digest format. This can be a spreadsheet you build yourself, a dedicated software application, or a mobile app. The goal is to give you a real-time, at-a-glance overview of your financial health. Instead of logging into 5 different accounts to understand where your money is, you can look at one central place. The primary benefit of a dashboard is clarity. When you see exactly where your money is coming from and where it's going, you're empowered to make smarter decisions. That daily coffee purchase might seem insignificant on its own, but when your dashboard shows you're spending over $100 a month on it, the impact becomes clear. This isn't about judging your spending habits, it's about being aware of them. Awareness is the first step toward intentionality. Another powerful aspect of a financial dashboard is its ability to track your progress toward your goals. Whether you're saving for a down payment on a house, planning a vacation, or building your retirement nest egg, a dashboard can visualize your journey. Seeing that savings bar creep closer to your target each month is incredibly motivating. It turns an abstract goal into a tangible achievement you can watch unfold. Let's talk about net worth for a moment. This is a key metric for your overall financial health. Simply put, your net worth is what you own your assets, minus what you owe your liabilities. Assets include things like the money in your bank accounts, the value of your investments, and the equity in your home. Liabilities are your debts, such as credit card balances, student loans, and mortgages. A personal finance dashboard automates the calculation of your net worth, allowing you to see it change over time. Watching your net worth grow is a powerful indicator that you're on the right track. Now you might be thinking, this sounds great, but is it secure? That's a valid and important question. When choosing a tool to build your dashboard, security should be a top priority. Many reputable financial apps and software use bank-level security and encryption to protect your data. They often use a read-only connection to your accounts, meaning they can see your balances and transactions, but cannot move any money. If you're building your own dashboard in a spreadsheet, you have complete control over your data, as you'll be inputting the information manually. We'll explore the different types of tools and their security features in a later chapter. For now, know that there are safe and secure ways to create your financial command center. Creating a dashboard isn't a one-time setup. It's a living tool that evolves with you. Your financial situation will change over time. You might get a raise, buy a car, have a child, or start a new investment. Your dashboard should be flexible enough to accommodate these life events. The habit of regularly checking and updating your dashboard is just as important as setting it up in the first place. Think of it as a weekly or monthly financial check-in with yourself. This practice of regular review helps you stay proactive rather than reactive. Instead of being surprised by a low bank balance at the end of the month, your dashboard can give you an early warning that your spending is higher than usual. This allows you to adjust your course before it becomes a problem. It's like having a financial GPS that helps you navigate toward your destinations and alerts you to potential roadblocks ahead. Throughout this series, we're going to break down the process of creating your own personal finance dashboard, step by step. We'll start with the foundational elements, like identifying your financial goals and gathering your account information. Then, we'll explore different tools you can use, from simple spreadsheets to sophisticated apps. We'll cover how to track your income and expenses effectively, how to set and monitor your savings goals, and how to understand the key metrics of your financial health. By the end of this series, you'll not only have a functional personal finance dashboard, but also a deeper understanding of your own financial landscape. You'll have the tools and the knowledge to move forward with confidence and intention. The goal isn't just about tracking numbers, it's about using those numbers to build the life you want. So for your first step, I encourage you to simply take stock. Before our next chapter, just think about all the different financial accounts you have. Don't worry about the numbers just yet. Simply make a mental or physical list. Your primary checking account, your savings account, any credit cards you use, your car loan, your 401k or IRA, and any other financial accounts. This simple act of listing them out is the very beginning of gathering the pieces of your financial puzzle. Thank you for joining me in this first chapter. I'm excited to continue on this path with you. In our next session, we'll dive into the crucial first step of setting meaningful financial goals, which will become the foundation of your personalized dashboard. As a reminder, all information in this series is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. Please consult with a qualified professional for advice tailored to your individual circumstances. In our last chapter, we introduced the concept of a personal finance dashboard as your financial command center, a single place to gain clarity over your entire financial life. Your first task was to simply list all your financial accounts to begin gathering the puzzle pieces. Today, we're going to talk about the picture you want to create with those pieces. We're going to build the blueprint for your dashboard by setting clear, powerful financial goals. Without goals, a dashboard is just a collection of numbers. It can tell you where you are, but not where you're going. It's like having a GPS with a perfectly functioning map that shows your current location, but you haven't entered a destination. Goals provide that destination. They give purpose to your financial decisions, and turn the act of tracking your money from a chore into a motivating journey. Many of us start with vague financial ambitions. We say things like, I want to save more money, or I need to get better with my finances, or my goal is to be wealthy someday. While the sentiment is good, these goals are too broad to be actionable. How do you know when you've saved more? How do you measure better? These undefined goals make it nearly impossible to create a plan, or to know if you're making progress. This is where the SMART goal framework comes in. It's a simple but incredibly effective method for turning vague wishes into concrete objectives. SMART is an acronym that stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Let's break down each of these components. First up is S for specific. Your goal must be clear and well-defined. Vague is the enemy of progress. Instead of I want to save for a vacation, a specific goal would be, I want to save for a one-week trip to the national parks in Utah. Instead of I want to pay off debt, a specific goal is, I want to pay off my highest interest credit card, the one ending in 1234. Being specific answers the important what and why questions about your goal. Next is M for measurable. You need to be able to track your progress. This usually involves numbers. A measurable goal answers the question, how much, or how many? Let's take our specific goal of a Utah vacation. To make it measurable, you could say, I need to save $2,000 for a one-week trip to the national parks in Utah. For the debt goal, it's already measurable. The total balance of that specific credit card. When you can measure a goal, you can see your progress on your dashboard, which provides powerful motivation to keep going. The third letter is A for achievable. This is a personal reality check. Your goal should challenge you, but it must also be realistic given your current financial situation, including your income and expenses. Setting a goal to save $1 million in a year on a $50,000 salary isn't achievable. It's a recipe for discouragement. An achievable goal might be to save 10% of your monthly income. This step isn't about limiting your ambition. It's about building momentum through wins. You can always set bigger goals after you achieve smaller ones. Only you can determine what is achievable for your situation. And it requires being honest with yourself about your finances. Fourth is R for relevant. Your goal must matter to you. It should align with your values and your larger life plans. A relevant goal answers the question, does this really matter to me? If you're not particularly interested in buying a home, setting a goal to save for a down payment might feel like a grind. But if your dream is to travel the world, saving for that Utah trip will feel exciting and purposeful. The more relevant a goal is, the more likely you are to stay committed to it when challenges arise. Finally, we have T for time-bound. Every goal needs a target date. A deadline creates a sense of urgency and prevents procrastination. It answers the when question. Without a time frame, there's no pressure to start. Let's complete our examples. I will save $2,000 for a one-week trip to Utah by June of next year. Or, I will pay off the full balance of my credit card ending in 1234 within the next 18 months. Putting a date on your goal gives you a clear finish line to race toward. So, let's put it all together. A vague goal like save for a car becomes a smart goal when you transform it into I will save $5,000 measurable for a down payment on a reliable used sedan specific. This will allow me to have safer transportation to my job, relevant. Based on my budget, I can save $250 per month, so I will achieve this in 20 months, achievable and time-bound. See the difference? This goal is a clear, actionable plan that you can now build into your financial dashboard. You can create a tracker that shows you're at $250, then $500, then $750, getting closer and closer to that $5,000 target. For your task before our next chapter, I want you to brainstorm and write down 1 to 3 of your own smart financial goals. Think about different time horizons. Maybe one short-term goal, like building a small emergency fund in the next 6 months. One midterm goal, like saving for that car down payment over the next 1 to 3 years. And one long-term goal, like reaching a specific retirement savings target by a certain age. Write them down. Refine them. Make sure each one passes the SMART test. These goals will become the heart of your personal finance dashboard. Thank you for joining me for this chapter on goal setting. In our next session, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of gathering and organizing all the financial information you'll need to power your new dashboard. Hello and welcome back to our step-by-step guide. This is Reader's Name, and in today's chapter, we're rolling up our sleeves to do the foundational work for our personal finance dashboard. As always, please remember this content is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not financial, legal, or tax advice, and you should always consult with a qualified professional regarding your personal situation. In our last session, you defined your destination by creating smart financial goals. You now have a clear blueprint of what you want to achieve. Today, we're going to gather the materials you'll need to build the dashboard that will track your journey toward those goals. This involves 2 key components: choosing your primary tool and collecting your financial information. Let's start with the tools. Broadly speaking, there are 2 main paths you can take to create your dashboard: the manual path with a spreadsheet, or the automated path with a dedicated financial app or software. There is no single best option. The right choice depends entirely on your comfort level with technology and how hands-on you want to be. The first option is the classic spreadsheet, using software like Microsoft Excel, Google Sheets, or Apple Numbers. The biggest advantage here is control and customization. You can design your dashboard to look exactly how you want it, tracking only the metrics that matter most to you. It's completely private, as you are the one inputting all the data. This manual approach can also create a deeper connection with your numbers, as you are actively engaging with every transaction. The downside, of course, is that it's manual. It requires discipline to sit down regularly, perhaps weekly or bi-weekly, to enter your income, expenses, and updated account balances. It can be more time-consuming, and you need some basic spreadsheet skills to set it up. The second option is using a financial aggregation app or software. You've likely heard of some of these tools. They are designed to securely connect to your various financial accounts, your bank, credit cards, loans, and investment platforms. Using a secure, often read-only connection, they automatically pull in your balances and transaction data in real time. The primary benefit is automation and convenience. Your dashboard stays up to date with minimal effort on your part. These apps often come with built-in features like spending categorization, budget trackers, and net worth calculators. The potential trade-off is privacy and cost. You are trusting a third-party company with your data, so it's crucial to choose a reputable service with strong security measures. Some apps are free but may show ads or offer other financial products, while others have a monthly or annual subscription fee. For the purpose of this guide, the principles we discuss will apply to both methods. For now, simply consider which approach feels right for you. You don't have to make a final decision just yet. Now, let's move on to the second part of our task today: gathering your information. This is like collecting all the vital statistics for a health checkup. We need accurate numbers to create an accurate picture of your financial health. Find a time when you can be focused, and start collecting the following documents or statements. It's helpful to have the most recent versions. First, let's look at your income. gather your latest pay stubs. These will show your gross pay, as well as any deductions for taxes, retirement contributions, or health insurance. If you have income from other sources like a side business or freelance work, get those records as well. We want a clear picture of all the money coming in each month. Second, let's document your assets. This is what you own. Make a list of all your accounts and their current balances. This includes your checking accounts, your savings accounts, including high-yield savings and emergency funds, your retirement accounts like your 401k, 403b, IRA, or Roth IRA. Find the most recent statement showing the total value. Any investment accounts, such as a brokerage account with stocks, bonds, or mutual funds. If you own a home or a car, you can find an estimated current market value from various online resources. This is just an estimate for now. Third, we need to list your liabilities. This is what you owe. Go through and find the most recent statement for any outstanding debts, making a note of the total amount owed and the interest rate. This includes credit card balances, student loans, your mortgage, auto loans, personal loans, or any other form of debt. Your task before our next chapter is to complete this information gathering phase. Create a simple, secure document or use a notebook. List all your income sources, all your assets with their current values, and all your liabilities with the total amounts owed. Don't worry about making it pretty yet. The goal is just to get all the raw data in one place. This list is the raw material from which we will build your dashboard. It might feel a little overwhelming to see all these numbers in one place for the first time, but remember, clarity is the goal. This step is essential for building an accurate and useful financial command center. Thank you for your focus today. In our next chapter, we will take this information and begin the exciting process of actually building your dashboard, starting with the foundational element, tracking your net worth. Just a reminder that the information provided here is for educational purposes only. It is not intended as financial, investment, or legal advice. Always consult with a qualified professional for guidance specific to your personal situation. In our last chapter, you did the important work of gathering all your financial documents and account information. You now have a comprehensive list of what you own, your assets, and what you owe, your liabilities. Today, we're going to use that information to calculate the single most important metric on your dashboard, your net worth. Think of your net worth as the foundation of your financial house. It's the ultimate measure of your financial health at a single point in time. It provides a clear, high-level answer to the question, where do I stand financially right now? The formula is simple, but the insight it provides is profound. It is simply your total assets minus your total liabilities. Let's say that again. Assets minus liabilities equals net worth. Let's walk through this calculation using the lists you created. First, add up the value of everything on your assets list. This includes the balance in your checking and savings accounts, the current value of your 401k or IRA, the value of any brokerage accounts, and the estimated market value of your home and vehicles. The total of all these items is your total assets. Next, add up everything on your liabilities list. This includes the balances on all your credit cards, the amount you still owe on your student loans, your outstanding mortgage balance, your auto loan, and any other debts. The sum of all these items is your total liabilities. Now for the final step, take your total assets number and subtract your total liabilities number. The result is your current net worth. For many people, this is the first time they have ever seen this number. Whatever that number is, positive or negative, don't attach any judgment to it. This is not a grade or a score of your self-worth. It is simply a starting point. It is your "you are here" marker on your financial map. The real power of this number comes from tracking it over time. So, why is this so important for your dashboard? While tracking daily spending is useful, it can feel noisy. Your net worth smooths out that noise. It shows you the big picture trend. A single month of high spending might make your cash flow look bad, but if you also made a large retirement contribution, your overall net worth may have still increased. Tracking your net worth month after month, or quarter after quarter, tells you if you are genuinely moving toward your long-term goals. Seeing that number consistently trend upward is one of the most powerful motivators you can have. Now let's talk about how to put this into practice on your dashboard. If you are using a spreadsheet, this is very straightforward. Create a new section or tab called Net Worth. Make a table with columns for the date, total assets, total liabilities, and net worth. For your first entry, put today's date and the numbers you just calculated. Your goal is to come back to this on a regular basis. The first of every month is a great habit, and add a new row with your updated numbers. Over time, you can even create a simple line chart to visualize your progress. This visual representation can be incredibly rewarding. If you are using a financial aggregation app, the software will likely do this for you automatically. Most of these apps feature a prominent net worth tracker right on the main screen. Your job in this case is to ensure that all the accounts you listed in the previous chapter are correctly and securely linked to the app. Double-check that all your assets and all your liabilities are included, so that the number the app displays is accurate. The app will then automatically update this for you, showing you how it changes day by day and month by month. Your task before our next chapter is to do this first calculation. Sit down with the numbers you gathered and calculate your starting net worth. Then, create the initial tracking setup in your chosen tool, whether that's a new tab in your spreadsheet or ensuring your accounts are linked properly in your app. You have now laid the foundation of your dashboard. This single metric will serve as your North Star, guiding your financial decisions and measuring your long-term progress. Thank you for completing this crucial step. In Chapter 5, we will move from the big picture of net worth to the day-to-day details of your finances by setting up a system to track your cash flow, your income versus your expenses. Before we begin, a quick reminder that this guide is for educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute financial, legal, or tax advice. Please consult with a qualified professional for advice tailored to your unique situation. In our last chapter, we built the foundation of our dashboard by calculating your net worth. This gave us the big picture view of your overall financial health. Today we're going to zoom in and look at the engine that drives that net worth number up or down month after month. Your cash flow. Simply put, cash flow is the movement of money into and out of your accounts. It's your total income minus your total expenses over a specific period, typically 1 month. A positive cash flow, or a surplus, means you brought in more money than you spent. A negative cash flow, or a deficit, means you spent more than you earned. Understanding and tracking your cash flow is arguably the most critical and hands-on part of managing your personal finances. It's the day-to-day activity that ultimately determines whether you reach the SMART goals you set in Chapter 2. Let's break this down into its two components: income and expenses. First, let's talk about tracking your income. This is usually the more straightforward part. Using the pay stubs you gathered earlier, you can identify your net pay or take-home pay. This is the amount that actually gets deposited into your bank account after taxes and other deductions. This is the number you should record as your primary income. If you have other sources of income, like from a side business, freelance work, or rental properties, you'll want to track that as well. For variable income, you can either record it as it comes in or, after a few months of tracking, use an average for planning purposes. Now for the more detailed part. Tracking your expenses. This is where the real insights happen. For your dashboard to be useful, you can't just have a long list of transactions. You need to group them into categories. Categorization turns a chaotic list of purchases into a clear story about your spending habits. The goal here, especially at the beginning, is not to judge your spending but simply to observe it. You are a detective gathering clues about where your money is going. Let's discuss how to set this up in your chosen tool. If you're using a spreadsheet, you can create a new tab called Expense Tracker. Create columns for the date of the transaction, a description of what you bought, the amount spent, and most importantly, a category. What categories should you use? This is personal, but you can start with some common ones and customize from there. High-level categories might include housing, rent or mortgage payments, utilities, electricity, water, natural gas, internet and phone bills, transportation, gas, car payments, insurance, public transit fees, food. This is often broken down into two subcategories: groceries and restaurants/dining out, debt payments, student loans, credit card payments, outside of the ones used for daily spending you are already tracking, personal care, haircuts, toiletries, etc., entertainment, movies, concerts, subscriptions like Netflix or Spotify, shopping, clothing, electronics, household goods. Start with a simple list. As you track your spending, you'll see where you need to get more specific. If you are using a financial aggregation app, this process is largely automated. The app will import your transactions and do its best to categorize them for you. A transaction at Safeway will likely be categorized as groceries. Your monthly Netflix charge will be tagged as entertainment. Your job is to review these automated categories. Sometimes the app will get it wrong. A purchase at a big box store could be groceries, clothing, or electronics. It's important to check in regularly, perhaps once a week, and correct any miscategorized transactions. By doing so, you teach the app, and it will become more accurate over time. Your action item for this chapter is to begin this tracking process. For the next 7 days, make a conscious effort to track every dollar you spend. Whether you're using a spreadsheet or an app, get into the habit of logging or reviewing your transactions and assigning them to a category. Don't worry about being perfect. The goal is to start building the habit and to create a real data-driven picture of your spending. This initial data is your baseline. It's the honest truth about your financial life, and it's the key to making informed decisions in the future. Thank you for joining me. In our next chapter, we will use this cash flow data you've started collecting to take the next logical step, creating a personalized spending plan or budget that aligns with your goals. As we always do, let's start with a reminder that this content is for educational and informational purposes only, and is not a substitute for professional financial, legal, or tax advice. In the last chapter, you began the crucial habit of tracking your income and expenses. You've started gathering the raw data on where your money is coming from and where it's going. Now we're going to use that data to create a forward-looking plan. We're going to take you from simply observing your finances to actively directing them. Many people call this a budget, but that word can sometimes feel restrictive. Let's think of it as a spending plan, a proactive tool that empowers you to tell your money where to go, instead of looking back and wondering where it went. A successful spending plan is not about restriction, it's about intention. It's the process of aligning your spending with the SMART goals you set for yourself. The data you've been collecting is the foundation. A plan that isn't based on your actual spending habits is just a guess. By using your own data, you can create a realistic plan that works for your life. One of the most effective and straightforward concepts for creating a spending plan is the idea of giving every dollar a job. This is sometimes called zero-based budgeting. The formula is simple. Income minus expenses equals zero. This doesn't mean you spend until you have nothing left in your account. It means that every single dollar of your income is assigned a purpose. Some dollars are assigned the job of paying the rent. Others are assigned the job of buying groceries. And very importantly, some dollars are assigned the job of funding your future through savings and debt repayment. This leads us to a powerful principle. Pay yourself first. Before you plan for bills, groceries, or entertainment, you allocate money towards your financial goals. Look at the SMART goals you created. If one goal is to save $300 a month for a new car, that $300 is the first expense you list in your spending plan. It's a non-negotiable payment to your future self. By doing this, you ensure you're always making progress on what's most important to you. Once you've allocated money to your goals, you then plan for your expenses. Looking at the categories you created, you can start setting spending targets. Your tracking from the past week or two gives you a realistic starting point. If you see you spent about $400 on groceries, maybe that's your target for the month. Be realistic. The goal is not to cut everything to zero, but to create a plan you can actually follow. Some people find it helpful to look at common frameworks as a general guide. You may have heard of the 50/30/20 guideline, which suggests allocating about 50% of after-tax income to needs like housing and utilities, 30% to wants like dining out and hobbies, and 20% to savings and debt repayment. This is not a strict rule you must follow. Rather, it can be a useful point of comparison. You can look at your own spending plan to see how your percentages line up and decide for yourself if you're comfortable with that alignment. So, how does this look on your dashboard? If you're using a spreadsheet, go to your expense tracker. Add a new column next to your actual spending column and label it planned or budget. For each category, fill in the target amount you've decided on for the month. You can then add a third column, difference, that subtracts your actual spending from your planned spending, so you can see in real time if you are over or under your target in any given area. If you're using a financial app, look for a budget or spending plan feature. Most apps have one. Here you can set spending targets for each category. The app will then automatically track your progress. It will often show you a progress bar, like a fuel gauge, that tells you how much you have left to spend in a category for the month. This provides instant feedback and can help guide your daily spending decisions. Your task before our next chapter is to create the first draft of your spending plan.
Disclaimer: the information presented is for informational purposes only and is not professional financial, investment, or tax advice. All investments involve risk and may result in partial or total loss. You should always conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any financial decisions. By viewing this video, You agree not to hold the creator liable for any loss or damage arising from your use of the information provided.
Take your monthly net income, subtract the amount you will pay yourself first toward your goals, and then allocate the rest across your various spending categories based on the data you've collected. Remember, this is version 1. It will not be perfect, and you will adjust it over time as you learn more. You've now turned your dashboard from a passive reporting tool into an active guidance system. Thank you for joining me. In our next chapter, we will focus specifically on how to build and visualize your savings goals right within your dashboard, making your progress tangible and motivating. We'll start with our important reminder. This series is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be taken as financial, legal, or tax advice. Always consult a licensed professional for advice regarding your individual situation. In our last chapter, we created a spending plan to intentionally direct our money. A core part of that plan was the principle of paying yourself first, allocating money towards your goals before anything else. Today, we're going to build the part of your dashboard that brings those goals to life. We're going to create a system to visually track your progress, turning your abstract goals into tangible, motivating targets. There's a powerful psychological component to seeing your progress. A goal like save $2,000 can feel distant and abstract. But when you see a progress bar that's 10% full, then 20%, then 30%, the goal feels real and achievable. It gamifies the process of saving and provides positive reinforcement that encourages you to keep going. This is what we want to build: a visual scoreboard for your financial wins. Let's go back to the SMART goals you created in Chapter 2. Whether it was for an emergency fund, a down payment on a car, or a future vacation, each goal had a specific, measurable target. Now we will build a dedicated module on your dashboard for each of these goals. Let's look at how to implement this in your chosen tool. If you are using a spreadsheet, you can create a new section or a new tab called Savings Goals. For each individual goal, you'll want to create a small tracking module. Let's imagine one of your goals is to save $3,000 for a vacation. Your module would include these fields: goal name, New York trip; goal amount, $3,000; monthly contribution. This is the amount from your spending plan. Let's say it's $150. Current amount saved. Here, you'll update your progress each month. Amount remaining. This can be a simple formula: goal amount minus current amount saved. And here is the most important field: percent complete. The formula is current amount saved / goal amount. You'll want to format this cell as a percentage. To make this truly visual, you can use your spreadsheet's built-in tools. Select the percent complete cell and look for a feature called conditional formatting, then choose data bars. This will automatically create a progress bar inside the cell that grows as the percentage increases. Now, every time you make a contribution and update your current amount saved, you will see that bar get longer. If you are using a financial aggregation app, this process is often even simpler. Look for a section in your app labeled Goals, or something similar. Most modern financial apps have this feature. You can typically create a new goal and give it a name, like Emergency Fund. Enter your target savings amount and, if applicable, a target date. Link a specific savings account to that goal. For instance, you might have a high-yield savings account dedicated just to your emergency fund. The app will then do the rest. It will automatically track the balance of the linked account against your goal and display a visual progress bar or circle, showing you exactly how far you've come and how much is left to go. You can create different trackers for different types of goals. An emergency fund is a straightforward goal of saving until you reach a specific dollar amount. A vacation or car fund is a sinking fund. You save up for a specific purchase and then spend the money. For very long-term goals like retirement, tracking can look a little different. Since the final goal amount can be very large and decades away, a single progress bar might not be as motivating day to day. For retirement, it's often more effective to use your dashboard to track your total account balance over time, which is already part of your net worth calculation. And more importantly, to track your monthly or annual contributions to ensure you are consistently investing in your future. Your action item before our next chapter is to build out the tracker for at least one of your primary savings goals. Open your dashboard tool, create the module in your spreadsheet or set up the goal in your app, and input your current progress. Make it visual. By doing this, you're making your goals a central and interactive part of your dashboard. You're no longer just saving. You're actively watching your future take shape, one contribution at a time. Thank you for joining me. In our next chapter, we'll address the other side of the net worth equation: setting up a system to track and manage your debt. Let's begin with our standard reminder. The content in this series is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered professional financial advice. Always consult with a qualified expert for guidance tailored to your personal circumstances. In our last chapter, we focused on the positive momentum of watching your savings grow. Today, we're going to tackle the other side of the net worth equation, your liabilities. We're going to build a component on your dashboard to track your debt. For many people, debt can be a source of stress, often because it feels like a vague, overwhelming cloud. The goal of this chapter is to bring clarity to that cloud. By tracking your debt systematically, you can turn that feeling of anxiety into a sense of control and empowerment. Just like watching a savings balance increase is motivating, watching a debt balance decrease is incredibly powerful. It provides tangible proof that your efforts are paying off. Your dashboard will serve as a clear and constant reminder of your progress, showing you the finish line getting closer with every payment. To start, you'll need the list of liabilities you compiled back in Chapter 3. For each individual debt, whether it's a student loan, a credit card balance, a car loan, or a mortgage, you'll want to identify 4 key pieces of information. The debt name, be specific like Federal Student Loan or Main Street Bank Visa. The current balance, the total amount you currently owe. The interest rate, also known as the APR. This is a crucial piece of data. The minimum monthly payment, the amount you are required to pay each month. Now, let's look at how to organize this information on your dashboard. If you are using a spreadsheet, create a new tab or a new section called Debt Tracker. Make a table with columns for the 4 data points we just listed. Each debt will get its own row. Once you have all your debts listed, add a cell at the bottom that calculates your total debt by summing up all the current balances. This single number is a key metric. Your goal is to see this number go down every single month. After you make your monthly payments, you can update the balance for each debt and watch your total debt shrink. You can even create a line chart that plots this total debt number over time, creating a powerful visual of your debt reduction journey. If you are using a financial aggregation app, this process is mostly automated. The app should import your loan and credit card accounts and list them in a liabilities or debts section. It will automatically update the balances for you. Your job is to make sure all your debt accounts are properly linked and that the information is accurate. Most apps will prominently display your total debt and often show you a chart of how it has changed over time. Once you have all your debts laid out clearly on your dashboard, you can be more intentional about how you approach paying them off. Having a clear picture allows you to see the whole battlefield. As you do your own research, you may come across different strategies people use. For example, some people use a method that focuses on paying off the smallest debts first to build momentum. Others use a method that prioritizes paying off the debts with the highest interest rates to save money over time. We are not recommending any specific strategy, but we are highlighting that having this organized view on your dashboard is the essential first step to implementing any plan you choose after your own research or consultation with a financial professional. Your action item for this chapter is to build out this debt tracking module. Open your spreadsheet or app, and for every single debt you have, log its name, current balance, interest rate, and minimum payment. Calculate your starting total debt amount. This is your new baseline. By putting all this information in one place, you take away its power to cause stress through ambiguity. It's no longer a monster in the dark. It's just a set of numbers on a screen that you now have a plan to control. Thank you for taking this important step. In our next chapter, we will dive back into our spending and discuss how to refine our budget by reviewing and analyzing our transaction history. As always, we begin with our important reminder. This series provides information for educational purposes only and should not be considered professional financial, legal, or tax advice. Please consult with a qualified professional for guidance on your specific situation. Over the last several chapters, we have built the essential components of your financial dashboard. You have a system for tracking your net worth, your savings goals, your debts, and your monthly cash flow. You've built a powerful tool. Today, we're going to talk about how to use it. A dashboard's true value isn't realized when you build it, but when you use it consistently to gain insights and make informed decisions. This is done through a monthly review. Think of your spending plan as your flight plan, and your dashboard as the instrument panel in a cockpit. A pilot doesn't just set a course and then take a nap. They regularly check their instruments to see if they are on track, adjusting for wind, turbulence, or other factors. The monthly review is your time to be the pilot of your finances. It's a dedicated, recurring appointment with yourself to check your progress and make small, intentional course corrections. The first step is to schedule it. Look at your calendar and block out 30 to 60 minutes during the first week of every month. Treat this money date as an important non-negotiable meeting. The goal is to make this a calm, reflective, and non-judgmental process. You're not here to criticize past spending, but to learn from it. When your scheduled time arrives, open your dashboard and follow a simple, structured checklist. We'll frame this as a series of questions you can ask yourself. First, how did my big picture change? Look at your net worth. Ask yourself, has my net worth increased or decreased since last month? What were the main reasons for the change? Maybe your retirement account value went up, or maybe you made a significant payment on a loan. Understanding the why behind the change is more important than the number itself. Second, where did my money go? Now zoom into your cash flow for the previous month. Ask, did I have a surplus or a deficit? Compare your actual spending in each category to your spending plan. Where was I on target? Were there any categories where I consistently overspent? Don't judge the overspending, just get curious. Why did it happen? Was it a one-time unexpected expense? Or is my spending plan for that category unrealistic? Third, how is my progress toward my goals? Shift your focus to your savings goals module. Ask, did I successfully pay myself first and make my planned contributions? Look at your visual progress bars. Seeing them move even a little is a powerful motivator. Are you on track to meet your goals target date? Fourth, am I winning against debt? Next, look at your debt tracker. Ask, how much did my total debt decrease this month? Seeing this number shrink is a significant victory. If you are focusing on a specific debt, how much progress did you make on that particular balance? Finally, what adjustments do I want to make? This is the most important step. Based on everything you just reviewed, ask yourself, what is one small adjustment I can make to my spending plan for the upcoming month? Perhaps you notice your dining out spending was higher than you'd like, so you plan to cook at home one extra night a week. Maybe a big expense, like an annual insurance premium, is coming up next month, and you need to allocate money for it. The goal is not to overhaul your entire plan, but to make small, sustainable tweaks. Your action item for this chapter is to conduct your first monthly review. Use these questions as your guide. The first time might feel a bit slow, but it will quickly become a streamlined and empowering habit. This consistent review process is what transforms your dashboard from a simple report into a dynamic navigation system for your financial life. It's the habit that builds momentum and ensures you stay on the path toward your most important goals. Thank you for joining me. In our next chapter, we'll address a common challenge: how to manage and plan for irregular income and unexpected expenses within your dashboard. Let's start with our important reminder. The information in this series is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered professional financial, legal, or tax advice. Please consult a qualified expert for guidance on your specific circumstances. In our last chapter, we established the powerful habit of the monthly review, a process for making steady, consistent progress toward our goals. But life isn't always steady and consistent. Some months you might have a surprise expense, like a car repair. Or perhaps your income itself isn't the same every month. This is a reality for freelancers, commissioned salespeople, small business owners, and many others. Today, we're going to talk about how to use your dashboard and your spending plan to manage this volatility and reduce financial stress. Let's first address irregular income. Budgeting can feel impossible when you don't know exactly how much money is coming in. The key to managing this is to create your own predictability. A common and effective strategy is to create a buffer system. Here's how it works conceptually. You have two primary bank accounts. One is an income receiving account, where all your variable earnings get deposited. The second is your main operating account that you use to pay your bills and do your daily spending. Based on a few months of tracking your income, you determine a conservative, reliable monthly salary for yourself, an amount you know you can consistently earn. On the first of every month, you transfer only that fixed salary amount from your income receiving account to your operating account. This single action transforms your financial life. Your income, from a budgeting perspective, is now a fixed, predictable salary that you pay yourself. In months where you earn more than your set salary, the surplus simply builds up in your receiving account, strengthening your buffer for leaner months. In months where you earn less, you can draw from the buffer you built up to still pay yourself your full salary. On your dashboard spending plan, the income line item is now this consistent, self-paid salary, which makes the rest of your plan stable and reliable. Now let's talk about the other side of the coin: irregular and unexpected expenses. These can derail even the most carefully crafted spending plan. The The key to managing these is to plan for the unplanned. We can do this by creating sinking funds. A sinking fund is simply a mini savings goal for a specific future expense. Instead of letting these expenses be a surprise, you anticipate them and save for them gradually over time. There are two types of expenses this works well for. First, there are the known but infrequent expenses. For example, you know your car insurance premium of $600 is due every 6 months. Instead of having a huge bill in June and December, you can create a sinking fund and save $100 every single month for it. On your spending plan, this $100 becomes a regular monthly expense. When the bill arrives, the money is already set aside and waiting. You can do this for holiday gifts, annual subscriptions, or vacations. The second type is the unknown but inevitable expense. You don't know when your car will need new tires, but you know it eventually will. You can create a car maintenance sinking fund and contribute a small amount, say $50 a month, towards it. When the repair bill comes, you may have enough to cover it entirely, or at least significantly reduce the financial impact. You can do this for home repairs, medical copays, or replacing electronics. On your dashboard, each sinking fund can be set up just like the savings goals we created in Chapter 7, with a target amount and a visual progress bar. This makes saving for future expenses just as motivating as saving for your other goals. Your action item for this chapter is to think about the volatility in your own financial life. If you have a regular income, calculate a conservative monthly salary you could start with. Then, identify 2 or 3 upcoming or inevitable expenses and consider creating sinking funds for them in your spending plan and on your dashboard. By implementing these strategies, you build a financial system that is more resilient and less stressful. You turn surprises into predictable events that you are fully prepared for. As we always do, let's start with our reminder. This guide is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered professional financial or security advice. Please consult with qualified experts for guidance on your specific situation. Over the past 10 chapters, you have built a sophisticated and personalized financial dashboard. You have a system that tracks your net worth, goals, debt, and cash flow. Now, we need to talk about how to keep this valuable tool in peak condition for the long term. This involves 2 key areas: routine maintenance to ensure your data is accurate and useful, and security practices to protect your sensitive information. Let's start with maintenance. Think of your dashboard like a garden. You can't just plant the seeds and walk away. It requires regular, gentle tending to thrive. This doesn't have to be time-consuming. A few simple, recurring habits are all you need. First, I recommend a weekly check-in. This should be very brief, just 10 to 15 minutes. The primary goal of this check-in is data accuracy. If you're using a financial app, this is your time to review the transactions from the past week. Quickly ensure everything is categorized correctly and fix any errors. If you're using a spreadsheet, this is when you might enter your transactions from the past few days. This small, weekly habit prevents the task from becoming a huge, overwhelming project at the end of the month. Next is your monthly review, which we discussed in detail in Chapter 9. This is your deeper dive where you analyze the data and make decisions. During this review, you can also perform maintenance. Ask yourself, are my spending categories still working for me? If you have a large miscellaneous or shopping category, you might decide to break it down further to get more clarity. You can also archive any savings goals that you've successfully completed. Finally, consider a quarterly or annual checkup. This is where you look at the dashboard structure itself. Is the layout still effective? Are there new things you want to track? As your financial life evolves, your dashboard should evolve with it. Now let's move on to the equally important topic of security. Your financial dashboard contains sensitive personal information, and it is crucial to protect it. While we cannot provide a comprehensive security plan, we can discuss some widely recognized best practices. First and foremost is password hygiene. You should use a strong, unique password for every single financial account you have, and for the dashboard app or spreadsheet file itself. Avoid using easily guessable information. A password manager can be a helpful tool for creating and storing complex, unique passwords for all your different accounts. The second, and perhaps most critical, practice is to enable two-factor authentication, often called 2FA, wherever it is available. 2FA adds a vital second layer of security. It means that even if someone steals your password, they still can't access your account without a second piece of information, which is usually a code sent to your phone. Most banks, credit card companies, and financial apps now offer 2FA, and you should enable it on all of them. Third, be extremely cautious when using public Wi-Fi. Unsecured networks, like those at coffee shops or airports, can be risky. It's best to avoid accessing your financial dashboard or any banking apps while connected to them. If you are a spreadsheet user, remember that most spreadsheet software allows you to password protect the file itself. This provides an important layer of security if your computer is ever lost or compromised. If you are an app user, be diligent about the service you choose. Look for apps that explicitly state they use bank-level or military-grade encryption to protect your data. Read their privacy policy to understand how your information is handled. And always be alert for phishing scams, emails or texts that pretend to be from your financial app to trick you into revealing your login information. Your action item for this chapter is twofold. First, schedule a recurring 15-minute, weekly dashboard tidy-up in your calendar. Second, and most importantly, take a few minutes right after this to enable two-factor authentication on your primary bank account or a financial app you use frequently. By combining regular maintenance with strong security habits, you ensure that your financial dashboard remains a trustworthy and reliable tool on your financial journey. This chapter comes with a very important disclaimer. The following information is for educational purposes only and is intended to show you how your dashboard can be a powerful organizational tool. It is not tax advice. Tax laws are complex and change regularly. You must consult with a qualified tax professional or use reputable tax software to understand your specific obligations and opportunities. With that understood, let's explore one of the most powerful secondary benefits of the dashboard you've built: its ability to make tax time significantly less stressful. Throughout the year, you have been diligently tracking your income and categorizing your expenses. When tax season arrives, a huge part of the work, gathering and organizing your information, is already done. Let's look at a few key ways your dashboard can help. First, income verification. Your dashboard has a clear record of all the income you've received, whether it's from a primary employer, freelance work, or a side business. When you receive your official tax forms, like a W-2 or various 1099s, you can easily compare them against the income you've tracked on your dashboard. This makes it simple to verify that the numbers match and ensures you're reporting your income accurately. Second, and perhaps most valuable, is organizing potential deductions. As you've categorized your spending each month, you've created a detailed record that can be incredibly useful. While we cannot tell you what is or isn't deductible for you, we can discuss how the organization helps. For example, individuals who are self-employed or have a small business often have a range of business-related expenses. Because you've been using categories like office supplies, business travel, software subscriptions, or internet bill all year, you don't have to spend hours digging through old bank statements. At the end of the year, you can simply sum up the totals for these categories. This organized list can be taken to a tax professional, who can then advise you on what may be considered a legitimate business expense. This also applies to other areas. Have you been tracking charitable donations in a specific category? What about medical expenses? By having these numbers neatly totaled, you make the process of filling out tax forms or working with a professional far more efficient. Third, tracking tax-advantaged contributions. Your dashboard tracks your net worth and savings goals, including contributions to retirement accounts like a 401k or a traditional IRA. Having a clear, year-end total of how much you contributed can be very helpful. Again, a tax professional can use this information to determine your eligibility for certain deductions or credits, but having the number readily available is the key organizational step you provide. Here's how to use your dashboard when it's time to prepare your taxes. If you're using a spreadsheet, you can simply filter or run a report for the entire year. You can get a year-end total for every single income and expense category with just a few clicks. You can print this summary and use it as your guide. If you're using a financial app, most have a feature that allows you to export your transaction data for the year. Many apps can even generate reports that are specifically designed for tax purposes, summarizing your spending by category. Your action item for this chapter is an easy one. Take a moment to look at your expense categories. Are there any that might be relevant for tax purposes? Consider creating more specific categories if needed. For example, instead of a generic donations category, you might specify charitable donations to make it stand out. You don't need to do anything else right now. Just ensure your organizational system is clear. By maintaining your dashboard throughout the year, you transform tax preparation from a frantic scramble for documents into a calm, organized review of the data you already have. Thank you for joining me. In our next chapter, we'll discuss how to use your dashboard to plan for and navigate major life events, such as buying a home or changing careers. As always, let's begin with our crucial reminder. This series is for educational purposes only. The concepts discussed here are meant to illustrate how you can use your data for personal analysis and are not a substitute for professional advice from financial, legal, real estate, or other qualified experts. Up to this point, we have focused on building your dashboard to understand your present and track your past. Today, we're going to shift our perspective and learn how to use your dashboard as a powerful simulation tool to help you plan for the future. Major life events, like buying a home, changing careers, or starting a family, have significant financial implications. Your dashboard can help you model these potential changes, giving you clarity and confidence as you make your decisions. Let's think about the process of considering a major purchase, like a car or a home. You now have a detailed spending plan that shows exactly where your money goes each month and how much of a cash flow surplus you have. To see how a new loan payment would fit, you can essentially create a sandbox version of your budget. In your spreadsheet or app, you can add a new hypothetical monthly expense for a potential mortgage or car payment. How does that new number impact your cash flow? Does it leave enough room for your other spending and savings goals? You can model different scenarios. What if the payment was $1,000? What if it was $1,200? This process moves the decision from an emotional one to a data-driven one. It helps you understand what price range might be comfortable for your specific financial situation before you even start looking. Next, let's consider evaluating a career change. A new job could come with a different salary, and your dashboard is the perfect tool to understand the impact. You can duplicate your current spending plan and simply change the number in your monthly income field. If you're considering a job with a higher salary, you can see how much that would accelerate your savings goals or debt repayment. If you're thinking about a passion-driven career with a lower salary, you can see what adjustments you might need to make to your spending to live comfortably on that new income. This isn't about telling you whether to take a job, it's about giving you a clear picture of the financial trade-offs. Your dashboard can also help you plan for growing your family. While the full costs can be hard to predict, you can research common expenses like childcare, diapers, and increased healthcare costs. You can then add these as new categories to a future version of your spending plan. This exercise can help you estimate how your monthly cash flow might change and allow you to start planning proactively, perhaps by increasing your savings rate now to build a buffer for when the new expenses arrive. The key in all these scenarios is that you are using your own, real-world data to create financial simulations. You're not relying on generic online calculators, but on a system that reflects your actual life. Your action item for this chapter is to think about a future goal or potential life change you have. It doesn't have to be immediate. Open your dashboard and try to model it. Create a copy of your spending plan and change one variable, the income, a new savings goal, or a new major expense. See how it impacts the overall picture. The goal is to get comfortable using your dashboard as a forward-looking tool. By doing this, you leverage your hard work of tracking and organizing, turning your dashboard into a personal financial laboratory where you can test possibilities for your future. Thank you for joining me. In our next to last chapter, we will discuss the psychological side of personal finance and how your dashboard can help you build a healthier, more confident relationship with money. As we approach the end of our series, we want to remind you that this content is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional advice from financial, psychological, or other qualified experts. Over the past 13 chapters, we have focused on the practical how-to of building a financial dashboard. We've assembled the components, learned how to maintain the system, and even used it to simulate future plans. Today, we're going to discuss what might be the most important benefit of this entire process.
Disclaimer: the information presented is for informational purposes only and is not professional financial, investment, or tax advice. All investments involve risk and may result in partial or total loss. You should always conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any financial decisions. By viewing this video, you agree not to hold the creator liable for any loss or damage arising from your use of the information provided.
The profound psychological shift it can create in your relationship with money. For many people, the topic of personal finance is loaded with stress, anxiety, and fear. Often, this anxiety doesn't come from the numbers themselves, but from the unknown. It's the financial fog, that vague, nagging feeling that you're not sure where your money is going, or if you're making the right choices. The very first thing your dashboard does is cut through that fog. The simple act of tracking your finances and seeing them clearly in one place replaces ambiguous fears with known facts. Even if the facts aren't exactly what you'd hoped for, they are something you can see, understand, and work with. This is the first step from fear to clarity. The next shift is moving from a reactive to a proactive mindset. Before you had a dashboard, a financial surprise like an unexpected bill might have caused a panic. Now you have a system. You have a spending plan that shows you where you can adjust, and you have sinking funds designed to absorb these very shocks. You are no longer a passenger being tossed around by your finances. You are the pilot, using your dashboard to navigate turbulence proactively. This builds an incredible sense of agency and control. We also need to talk about the power of celebrating small wins. We very intentionally designed the dashboard to be a visual tool. The progress bars on your savings goals, the shrinking balance on your debt tracker, and the upward trend of your net worth chart are not just data points. They are visual records of your effort and discipline. During your monthly review, it is vital to take a moment to acknowledge this progress. Celebrate that you paid off an extra $50 on a loan, or that you hit your savings target for the month. This positive reinforcement rewires your brain to associate managing money with a sense of accomplishment rather than dread. Perhaps the most crucial mindset shift is learning to detach your self-worth from your net worth. The numbers on your dashboard are metrics, not a measure of your value as a person. Your net worth is a data point, like the temperature outside or the amount of fuel in your car. A low fuel gauge doesn't make you a bad driver. It's simply information that tells you what action to take next. By treating the numbers on your dashboard as neutral, objective data, you can make decisions with a clear head, free from guilt or shame. Your action item for this chapter is purely reflective. During your next scheduled check-in or monthly review, take 5 minutes to simply notice your feelings. How has your level of stress or confidence around money changed, even slightly, since you started this process? There's nothing to write down or calculate, just observe your own mindset shift. The ultimate goal of creating a personal finance dashboard isn't just to accumulate wealth, but to build a foundation of financial peace of mind. It's about creating a system that supports your life and your goals, allowing you to focus your energy on what truly matters. Thank you for joining me for this important discussion. In our final chapter, we will bring everything together and talk about using your dashboard to set a long-term vision for your future. For the last time, let's begin with our important reminder. This series has been for educational and informational purposes only. You should always consult with qualified professionals for advice on your specific financial, legal, or tax situation. We have come a long way together on this journey. We started with the simple, powerful idea of bringing your entire financial life into one place. We moved from the uncertainty of scattered accounts to the clarity of a central command center. You set meaningful, smart goals, transforming vague wishes into a concrete blueprint for your future. You rolled up your sleeves and did the foundational work of calculating your net worth, creating a spending plan based on your real data, and building visual trackers for your savings and your debts. You've learned how to turn your dashboard into a dynamic tool through regular reviews, and how to use it to plan for life's complexities and major decisions. Today, as we conclude, I want you to step back and look at what you have truly built. Yes, you have a spreadsheet or an app, but more importantly, you have a system. You have a habit. You have a new mindset. The dashboard itself is just the tool. The real prize is the clarity, confidence, and control you've gained over your financial life. The ultimate goal was never just to track numbers. It was to use those numbers to answer a much deeper question. How can I align my financial resources with the life I truly want to live? Your dashboard is the bridge between your daily financial decisions and your long-term life vision. As you move forward, I encourage you to think beyond the 1 to 5 year goals we've focused on. Use the mental energy and peace of mind this system creates to ask bigger questions. What does financial freedom look like for you personally? What kind of impact do you want to have on your family and community? What experiences do you want to prioritize over the next 10, 20, or 30 years? Your dashboard handles the day-to-day mechanics of your money, freeing you up to dream and plan for this bigger picture. The specific tool you use may change over time. A new app may be invented, or your spreadsheet may get a sophisticated upgrade. But the principles you have learned in this series are timeless. The habit of tracking your progress, the discipline of a regular review, the practice of intentional planning. These are the skills that will serve you for a lifetime, regardless of the technology you use. You started this series with the goal of creating a dashboard. My hope is that you finish it with a deep understanding that what you've really created is a foundation for a lifetime of financial clarity. You have replaced ambiguity with facts, anxiety with a plan, and reactivity with intention. You have taken a definitive step to become the pilot of your own financial journey. Thank you for your time and your commitment throughout these 15 chapters. It has been a privilege to be your guide. I wish you the very best as you continue to use the tools and skills you've developed to build a life of purpose and financial peace of mind.
Disclaimer: the information presented is for informational purposes only and is not professional financial, investment, or tax advice. All investments involve risk and may result in partial or total loss. You should always conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any financial decisions. By viewing this video, you agree not to hold the creator liable for any loss or damage arising from your use of the information provided.